Welcome back to the service park here in Gap. This service now is the final time that they will have a service up here. Joining me, Stephen Cho. We're going to talk all things tyres for a little bit. So thank you so much. Stephen, this morning, my goodness me, those weather conditions changed just so much overnight.
Yeah, I thought yesterday was tough. Today looked incredibly difficult also. Yeah, very exciting.
Okay, well, one takeaway that we've got from this morning is Oliver talking about the studs. Now, we have talked about it in the past, but can you talk to me about how the studs actually work? Because they're embedded in the tyre, so as the rubber wears away, they come up more?
Yeah, exactly right. So, you know, with any competition tire, how you warm it up and how you get it into the window is incredibly critical. So when you see the rally cars coming up to the start of the stage, you see they're very violently warming up the tires and all these kind of things. And so the stud adds in a whole nother element to that as well, because as you put heat into the blocks and they start moving, you get a little bit of wear, then actually you find that the stud protrusion improves quite a bit. And so, of course, from our side, you know, we want to have as much protrusion as possible within the regulations right from the get-go, but it's not possible to have it perfect that way. And so I think what Oliver was saying is that, you know, it's going to take a lot of kind of specific technique on each driver's aside on how to best bring the studs up as well in time for to get the maximum performance through the stage. And of course, there's a trade-off as well, because as you start running the studs, they come out more and protrude more, which is good, but then they start to get worn and they get a little bit rounded as well. So it's all these sort of things that the drivers have to balance, another layer of complexity for these crews to have to deal with.
I like what you said yesterday about if you're happy 51% of the time in this rally, then it's working for you, and it really does sound like it's so incredibly tricky. Now, from this moment forward, we've got a service, we've got a tyre change, then we've got a remote service. We've got fresh tyres for the Super Special tonight?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, we've been saying that tyre choice is the big thing in Monte Carlo always, and as we've seen with these crazy conditions, even more so this time. I think this is going to be super interesting. So they're going to be at remote service. We've got one more stage in this area, which is the one we did this morning, stage 10 and 12. And I think from the weather, we've seen the sun come up a bit, which is nice, but I think we still expect to see a lot of snow and slush. So that tells you probably want to go with the studded tire. But then back down to stage 13, which is going to be tarmac. And of course, you're probably going to want to have the super soft or you know, depending on the condition, maybe the non-studded snow. So I think we might see some variability in the tire strategies here. And so I'm very interested to see how the cars leave from remote service.
How it's going to play out. Okay, and then tomorrow morning, this is sort of a big one for you because this is an enormous day tomorrow, nearly 80 Ks. You said it yesterday, I think. It feels like so long we've been here already, but I think it was yesterday that you said this is the longest amount of kilometers that they can do in terms of the regulations on one set. That is going to be also another element, incredibly challenging. We've got this power stage, the Wolf power stage, which means additional points, Sunday points as well. There's so much to play for on Sunday now.
Yeah, I know. If you look in the back at the tires in the lots, you see that a lot of them have been used, and so there's been a lot going on. And again, the variability has been even difficult for us to catch up to see exactly what everyone's doing and what everyone's preparing. But it's been very interesting.
Okay, amazing, Stephen. I really do appreciate your time once again. Thank you so much. I know you're going down to Monaco, so it's going to be an incredible experience tonight. Enjoy that, and we'll see you in Sweden.
Thank you. See you in Sweden.
Okay, well, on your screens right now is the stages that are to follow and the stages for tomorrow as well. So that's sort of how things are shaping up as we continue through this Monte Carlo rally. All right, now we have got plenty of interviews coming in. I did those up in the media zone, and I think we're going to listen straight into the M Sport interviews. So let's do that, and I'll see you over at M Sport in a second. Josh, that was a difficult morning out there, perhaps more difficult than we expected. Plenty of snow fallen overnight. What have you made of it? And as we go back into the next stage, what are you expecting?
Yeah, it was full winter conditions. You could say you were in Sweden at points. But it was nice to do. Obviously, it was full tarmac setup, full snow stage, and yeah, opening the road. I started off the start line, and I didn't know if I was going to get anywhere. It was just spinning, so I'm sure this afternoon there's going to be more clean tracks than this morning, which could help, but still it gets messy at that point when you're running first in the road. So the next stage, it was like bashing ice. It was quite shallow on the track, so it was digging down. But it's been good fun, and that's the main thing.
Well, I watched the snow falling around you as you were trying to get out last night. How late did you get back here?
Yeah, I think I was back in the hotel at 11 o'clock, so it wasn't so bad. But yeah, once the stage was red flagged, eventually, whenever it was so bad with the snow, some more spectators came and it was easy to get it out. So pity they weren't there 2 years before.
I was trying to get Thierry's fans to go up to you. I was shouting at the screen to get Thierry's fans
actually,
to go to the...
Owen went up there after like 15 minutes to try find him, but through the forest, so we couldn't make it happen.
Shame. At least you got back. Okay, super special tonight and one more stage in between. A big old journey down to Monte as well.
Yeah, it's going back to Monaco tonight. 300-kilometre odd road section, so plenty of good music. And finish off in Monaco tonight is going to be something special for the fans. And I think, I don't know when the last time was around this track, but to be part of that is something nice.
All right, enjoy it. Greg, crazy conditions out there today, but you've made it through. What have you made of it all?
Yeah, proper Monte condition with full white, full icy first stage, 31 kilometer long. I think we took 28 minutes to do it, so it's average of around 60 kph. It wasn't fast, but quite fun, lot of slides, good for the spectator, the atmosphere, and like I said, I don't know when we will be in this car again, so just enjoying every kilometer we can.
Yeah, I bet. And tonight as well, going to enjoy that, a bit of a spectator stage.
Yeah, for sure. For us, to drive such stage is not always the funniest when we come from this kind of stages, but it's good for the fans, it's good to reach new person, new public, and I think if it's through this kind of stage in a nice city, then why not?
And we've got one more stage breaking this up and the super special. What are you expecting from the next stage today?
I think a good 30% of the stage is going to dry up, or at least be completely melted. So it's going to be tricky, the change of surface, but that's Monte.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
John, you really are getting the true Monte experience right now. How did you make the first two stages out this morning?
Yeah, proper like full ice and snow on the first stage this morning. We struggled to have a good rhythm and probably could have been a bit safer with the setup as well. We were struggling for actual like grip and traction. So yeah, it's just another lesson learned. There's a lot of new stuff for me, and you have to learn the car and learn the tyre, learn what you should do in these conditions. And yeah, we lost a little bit there. We also picked up a bit of a slow puncher, which was hard on the downhill. But then, yeah, the second stage we were on quite a good pace. It seems like the stage was also improving from the times come behind. So yeah, it's been an okay morning.
Okay, you said to Julian out there you made a few changes. You're going to make a few more now you're back?
I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see in service. But yeah, it's one of those rallies where you can probably make bigger changes, but it's important not to move the goalpost too far and then you lose the rhythm. So yeah, there's always a balancing act, and you're not sure if you're making the right decision, but hopefully it is.
All right, enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Well, there we go. Those were the guys from M Sport. Myself and Chenny now down here at M Sport. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you. You've been sat in that commentary booth through all of that drama.
Locked away in that box, non-stop. Yeah, but no, it's been great to commentate on Kiri, as you said, because there's been so much drama, hasn't there? And just listening to John's words, I think this has been such an incredible learning experience for him and Josh. You know, this weekend a little bit more difficult for Josh, isn't it? But I think John, on the whole, has done a superb job, and I know that everyone down here at M Sport's pretty happy with the progress that he's made.
Yeah, well, I had only just seen it on social media. I think you can see just the recovery of Josh's car, and I was saying, oh, there's plenty of snow. Well, he was actually out there watching the snow fall last night because it suddenly came down. So yeah, it's been quite a lot for Josh this weekend, but they're all back here and ready to go again.
Yeah, so you can see these are live pictures coming in here from service, and you're referring to last night when Josh went off the road, and eventually the fans did come to his rescue and he was able to drive out of the stage, but of course by that point the damage had been done. I think Josh has had a really good run on the first stage this morning.
Yeah.
You know, when everything's coming together and the grip levels are consistent, you know, the car was working well for him, and Josh did a good job on that opening stage in very, very tricky conditions. Chose to go with only one spare as well in the back. Everyone else taking two studded spares, Josh only taking one, and I do think you gain a performance advantage from that on the slippery conditions, because you don't get some, obviously you've got less weight in the back of the car, which reduces the pendulum effect as the car's sliding around on the ice. Always a bit of a risk, because if you pick up a couple of punches, you're in big trouble, aren't you? But yeah, good move from Josh to go that way, and I think he put on a good performance this morning. And as I said, John Armstrong doing a superb job as he continues to learn. I mean, I'm excited to see what John can do with the car on particularly on sealed surface events. Okay. He's got a bit of learning to do on the gravel, I think, with this car, but on the sealed surface, I think he's going to be there or thereabouts.
Okay, well, that might be quite exciting to watch. Also, just finally with Greg, he said he's not sure when he's going to be back next into this car, so just enjoying it. Although the conditions are incredibly difficult, just enjoying the moment, basically, now.
Absolutely, and I, for one, would love to see Gregoire and Louis come back, you know, under these conditions where there's no stress, they're just enjoying themselves, having fun, but it just hasn't gone their way this weekend. They've had a couple of punctures, they've had some power steering issues, and driving one of these cars without power steering is trust me, very, very difficult. I'd love to see Gregoire come back and have a proper cut at it, a proper go without any problems, because when there's no pressure on his shoulders, he's a very different driver. And I think last year we didn't get to see the real Gregoire Munster because there was pressure on and he felt it and he was worrying about that as opposed to just getting on with the job at hand. And when he's just enjoying himself and having fun, that's when you see the best Gregoire Munster, and that's what I'd like to see at some point.
Okay, well, fingers crossed for that. Just in that interview there with John, he was talking about the changes that he'd made. He spoke about that with Julian at the stage end. Then he was saying, well, it's hard to know what to do next because you've got the slush. Okay, then you've got this remote service that's happening before you go down to the super special. But for the next stage, it should, from what all the drivers were saying, be slushy. But where do you go with that?
It's very difficult, isn't it? I think a kind of setup that would suit what we saw in the previous stage or the second stage that was run today, that's when it was very, very slushy conditions. That's the way I'd be going, because there's no question that, yes, we saw a thick bed of ice on the opening stage this morning, which is going to be run again shortly. But a lot of that's going to have thawed out, Kiri. So you do get that slush. And then when you're on the slush, the studs don't really work. They're not biting into anything. Yeah. So you're relying on the profile of the tyre to clear all that slush out of the way. And then in order to get the tyre to work, like John was saying, you've got to get the car set up right. So I think for me, getting the car set up as to work in the conditions that they experience in the second stage, they'll be there or thereabouts for what they're going to experience shortly.
Okay, myself and Chenny are going to talk you through the team services. So the next up of the interviews is Hyundai. We'll see you over there in a second. Well, Hayden, you're getting the true Monte experience as well. It's been a while, but this is a real baptism of fire.
Yeah, well, tougher than what everyone expected, and it's not getting any easier as the rally's going on. So frustrating at the moment. There's not much I can do, but I know we have to finish the rally, and just knowing that makes it probably worse. And the margin for error here is so small. So yeah, it's a balancing act that I'm not getting right at the moment.
Okay, well, we've got another stage before we break up this super special. So what are we expecting from the next stage?
Well, obviously, I think we're going to expect a bit of melt, so it's probably going to make it actually trickier because the conditions are going to be a lot more changeable. First time through it was very slippery, but at least it was consistent. This time we're going to have slush and ice and tracks and snow and pretty much a combination of everything Monte will throw at you.
All right, enjoyed out there, thanks. Well, Thierry, that was a difficult morning out there. You said plenty of ice. What are we expecting from the next stage?
That's a good question. I think that the conditions will be pretty similar. Maybe it's melting a bit in a couple of sections. There will be a bit more lines. But yeah, it was a challenging morning out there. We got through no major risks, just trying to get to the end of the day.
All right, enjoyed out there.
Thank you.
Well, Adrian, apart from getting in here, it's been quite a tricky morning.
Yeah, it's been a very tricky morning, but I have to say the first stage this morning was very nice conditions to drive. It was beautiful landscape, etc. So good ice, and I was enjoying actually the drive in these conditions. For sure, the time I want to be faster, but I'm still searching a little bit the confidence with the car, but the stages were quite cool to drive. The second one, it was very different conditions, a lot more like slush, tarmac. There was just two lines towards. It was quite tricky out there, but I made some steps on the setup and I was much more comfortable. So let's see this afternoon if I can do another one.
Okay, you're the first person that said good ice, so I'm glad you're enjoying it out there. Like you said, the next stage on, what can we expect? Are you going to make changes before you head out?
Yes, we're going to make probably some small changes, but actually it's melting for sure. I think we're going to see a little bit more ruts and lines and on tarmac, but still some places will be full ice, so it's going to be compromised. But also it's the last big service now before tomorrow, so we need to make the right decision also for tomorrow.
All right, enjoy it. Thanks,
Thank
Adrian. Well, the giggle at the beginning of Adrian's was because he got some ice on the way into the media zone and had a little slip. But as long as it happens in the media zone and not on the stages, then I think it's all fine. He said good ice. I've not heard anyone else say good ice.
I think, yeah, predictable, consistent ice is what he was looking for. And that was the nice thing about that opening stage this morning was the grip levels were reasonably consistent, Kiri, you know. The second stage, I think, was predominantly slushy. And when the conditions are changing non-stop, that's when it becomes very, very difficult. So, yeah, I think when it's consistent, it's okay, but it's going to be anything but going into the next stage.
All right, well, we've made it into Hyundai now. Services, this is the last, I think that's a really key thing. This is you're a little out of breath.
I got stopped by some of the Irish lads in the way, so I dropped behind you, then had to put in a qualifier. I was running.
Did a hot lap up.
I'm blowing.
Okay, now we are here for the last service here in Gap. That's a really important thing as well, because then it's sort of on the road from there on in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big journey now. Obviously, they're going to do this next stage. It's the repeat of the first stage that we saw this morning. And then they've got a tyre fitting zone. And then they have to go over the coal down into Monaco. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, for Monaco later on, you just want the super soft tyre. But I wonder, are they going to have to bring some studs with them just for the road section to get over the top of the mountain? So we might see, I don't know, but we might see in Monte some of the crews with studs in the boot of the car because they've been forced to take them just to be able to use them on the road section to get to Monte Carlo.
Okay, well, we, of course, and Cheney will be back in his booth, back in your box where you're meant to be. So he'll be telling you all about those tyre choices in a bit. All right, what have we made of Hyundai? Hayden sort of just making it really, really clear that he has to finish. And I think it's quite a lot of weight, actually, on him. He has to finish. He needs to bring that car home. So everything's a little bit more tentative because he just can't make any mistakes.
Yeah, I think all things considered, Hayden Paddon doing a good job. These are the conditions that he's not used to at all. He has been properly thrown in at the deep end this weekend. And again, you know, we heard him say at the end of the stage, I have to finish this rally. And certainly he does now with how easy he's been taking it.
Yeah.
You know, to drop it now would be pretty unforgivable, wouldn't it? You know, he's not been told by the team, he's not been put under any pressure from the team. It's just get to the end, get the seat time, learn the car, bring back the data. And he's been taking it very, very, very carefully on the roads in the snow and the ice. So to drop it now would be a silly move. I think all things considered, he's not done a bad job. And like I said, put him on a fast gravel road, he'll be bang on the money. Trust me. In these conditions, with the amount of seat time he's had, you can't expect Hayden to be knocking on the same door as Adrian Fourmeau and Thierry Neuville.
Yeah, a tough weekend, but tough for everybody. Let's talk about Adrian. He seems to be happy. He seems to be enjoying it. The face of each driver tells a story. Yesterday, when they were coming back, everybody just looked exhausted. Today, Seb, OJ, we'll see it in a bit, not particularly happy, still frustrated, but Adrian is happy. He's enjoying it.
Adrian Fourmeau understands the benefits of a positive mental attitude. Even when things are going against you, you have to stay positive. When you're negative and it starts to get you down, you let your head drop, you don't get any quicker. You just go slower. It just unravels and it gets worse. So even when things aren't going well, one of Adrian's strengths is remaining positive in difficult situations, and that's why we've seen him bounce back in those difficult situations. And yeah, yesterday was unfortunate, I think, with the handbrake issue, and of course it was unfortunate for Thierry Neuville as well. Now what Adrian needs to do is continue to go out and do what he's doing and try and keep his teammate behind him, because Thierry, you know, the last thing you want is to get beaten by your teammate. Unfortunately for Thierry, when he dropped it yesterday, he's now on the back foot and needs to try and get ahead of Adrian Fourmeau.
Just to remind you, if you weren't with us yesterday, or in fact have just forgotten because there's so much that's gone on, Thierry had a bit of a moment, quite a long moment with the ditch there. He lost 3 minutes and 10 seconds. That's why he's in the position. Luckily, given what's going on behind him, it hasn't taken him out too much of the position. Obviously lost it to Adrian, but that's where we're at with that.
Yeah, I mean, he just lost the back of the car on a slippy section coming into a left-hander. It was one of those very long, very slow accidents, and it just dropped into the ditch, and then he was just trailing down the ditch for about literally, I don't know, 80 or so meters, desperately trying to get the car out. Couldn't get it out, and eventually ran out of space, had to stop, and 3.5 minutes were lost in the recovery. He's dropped back behind Adrian Fourmeau, so Adrian, despite the handbrake issues yesterday, up to fourth. I think Thierry Neuville, he's 40 or so seconds behind Adrian now.
Okay, all right, we're going to move from Hyundai to Toyota. While we do that, you listen into the interviews with all of the Toyota drivers. Plenty of snow this morning, a bit different conditions to what we were expecting. How did you find it all?
Yeah, tricky conditions, obviously, but not so much to say. Otherwise, it's let's say not blaming anyone, but our cover crew is going a bit earlier to get some information from the conditions. So quite many sections, it's I'm simply too careful, not trusting what is going to be ahead. So especially once I don't really want to do anything silly, it's making it more difficult.
All right, I know you're short of time. Thanks, Sammy.
Thank you.
So, Taka, those were tricky conditions out there. A bit of a better run for you today. How have you felt about it all?
Yeah, it's so much better. It's feeling-wise, it's more like I feel the grip and I feel the car and everything is working well. So yeah, best day so far, but there could be better many places. So just try my best to carry on and stay on the road and be smart, and let's see what I can do in next loop and also after tomorrow. Still a long way to go, so anything can happen and still anything is possible. I mean, yeah, still not long way to go. So.
All right, enjoy it. Thanks, Taka.
Thank you.
Well, Seb, you've definitely been pushing out there in very, very difficult conditions. Jerry said that was the plan today. Have you got more still to give?
Well, it was, I don't know if we can talk about pushing. It was trying to drive clean. It's very tricky with very low grip. It's incredible. I mean, condition looks fantastic, but it's a shame we have to drive so slow.
Yeah, it was impossible conditions. Next stage, cleaning a bit?
Yeah, next stage will be different again with some melting conditions. So I think less consistent in the morning even. So I think, yeah, it will remain tricky.
All right, enjoy it. Elvin, you're still holding on strong there. I know Seb's plan was to keep the pressure on you, but you managed to keep him at bay in such tough conditions.
Yeah, it's been very tough this morning. The first one was very icy, very low grip all the way through, really. Relatively consistent, I would say, so at least you can judge a little bit, but yeah, very hard to know how well or badly you're doing. But then the second stage was much more inconsistent. The slush, where it was melting and still quite thick, was extremely difficult, and a couple of slides where they came from nowhere, and it just seems like you could never stop the car, so it's tricky.
Okay, and just quickly, you've mentioned slush. Next stage, going to have that slush?
Yeah, it's possible, I guess, so let's wait and see.
All right, enjoy it.
Cheers.
Thanks. Oliver, what a morning out there, but you've managed to hold on well. I know you were talking about the studs, but you've got that sorted now, so on to the next stage.
Yeah, I got that sorted. This morning was so tricky, so risky with all the thick snow and ice, and if you go wrong by half a second, you are stuck in the ditch, so easily, and it's over. So I think it was the right thing to do, to not push too hard, and yeah, I lost 20 seconds, but I took it back now, so you just try to play it smart and play when to push and see what I could do. Yeah.
All right, keep enjoying.
Thank you.
See what he can do, but he's got a good buffer, so he's in a comfortable position. It'll be interesting to see what the next stage is. A lot of talk from slush, from Seb and Elvin. I mean, I think slush is the key for the next stage.
Yeah, so the one thing we heard all the drivers saying there about the first stage this morning, which we're about to run again, was that it was consistent grip, and that's what it was. It was basically ice all the way through. That's now going to change completely. A lot of that ice will have thawed away. It's going to have turned to slush, and as I was talking about before, the stud doesn't really work in the slush. You're relying on the profile of the tyre to clear it out of the way. So I think we can expect similar conditions to stage 2 this morning. Oliver Solberg was really good in there. Sebastian Ogier, he didn't pull the pin. He said he was too cautious. He's now got to get the hammer down on this long 29-kilometre stage, Kiri. And in some places, it'll be very slushy. In other places, the ice will have polished up. I suspect towards the end, for sure, it's going to be a very messy, slushy stage.
Okay, all right. Well, that's to come. Oliver Solberg, we've said that, comfortable lead. Spoke to Jari this morning. I'm sure you heard it because you were in the commentary booth waiting for the stage to start. Jari saying he was expecting something spectacular from Oliver in Sweden and, of course, on the back of Estonia, but just not quite expecting it to be as impressive as it is.
Yeah, and look, we were talking about it yesterday. Estonia, I think we could have expected Oliver to be there or thereabouts. It's a fast gravel rally. That suits him. But here is the polar opposite. Very, very difficult, inconsistent grip conditions. And Oliver has kept the setup of the car very simple. He's not playing with it much. He's gone out and he's doing what comes naturally to him. And I don't think he's really been out of his comfort zone at all this weekend. So, he's doing a superb job. And if he can do it here and he can do it in Estonia, then... well, you can do it anyway.
Yeah, now the fans are absolutely packing out. And it is interesting because the fans are very loyal here. We know Sebastian Ogier, hometown here. Fans are loyal to Seb, but they are really, really loving Oliver at the moment, definitely supporting this man.
Yeah, that's the one thing about rally fans. And again, we were talking about it last night in service because Oliver turned up and everyone went wild, didn't they? Yeah, you support your local driver, but you support the sport. They're rally fans at heart. So, they've appreciated, as we all have done, have appreciated what Oliver has been able to pull out of the bag this weekend. So far, and it's always nice to see fans supporting everybody. And of course, this is the only form of motorsport in the world where the fans become the drivers' heroes out on the stages when they're pulling you out of a ditch and everything. It's what makes rallying so special and so unique.
Well, Josh said actually, so I said I was screaming at the screen to get Thierry's fans to come up and get him, and he said actually about 15 minutes after they knew that Thierry was out, they went down and hustled the fans to come and get them out. That's actually how they did end up getting out, and like you said, they become sort of the heroes of the story, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen it plenty of times, particularly on snowy rallies in Sweden, and again we've seen it a couple of times here in Monte Carlo. The fans are the ones that come to your rescue when you drop it into a ditch. You need manpower to get you out, and like I said, there's no other form of motorsport where you get that, and it's what makes it so special.
Okay, well, Elfyn Evans, towards the end of the season last season, you saw it in his body language, there was weight on his shoulders, and that's fair enough. There was a lot going on, you know, there was a lot of pressure. He was smiling, he seems to be quite happy again, which is really good to see, and he's doing well. The conversation about keeping Seb behind him definitely put a little smirk to his face, and that's really good to see.
Yeah, I think Elvin's in a good place. I think he was in a good place in 25 as well, certainly compared to where he was in 23 and 24. You know, that's when you saw Elvin kind of tightening up. He didn't have that last year, you know, and I think he's probably taken another step forward this year, and for sure he's enjoying his rallying, and it's so early on in the event. I think Elvin's doing a brilliant job, and he's not really worried about what Oliver's doing or Seb. He's just focusing on his own rally, and that's what Elvin's always been so good at, is focusing on his own event and not getting sucked into silly mistakes because he's fighting with other people, and that's why he's been so consistent. That is Elvin's strength. He's consistently quick. That's what makes him so good.
Okay, well, right now cars are heading out. They're heading out to, like you said a couple of times now, the stage that you saw this morning. We're expecting slush, so that's where they're going next. Then they've got this remote service situation, so they'll be doing that before they head down to Monte Carlo. There is a lot going on today, not just on the stages. There's a lot in between. So the first cars heading out onto that stage is going to be really interesting to see those conditions. That's about half an hour's time. But then it's a change in sort of format, isn't it? It's a lot to process. This rally just keeps on giving.
Yeah, so I mean, it's you know, the typical 3 stages in the morning. Obviously, it has been broken up by a service now. Go out, do another 29 kilometres in incredibly difficult conditions, and then, you know, they get a moment of respite where they've got to make a decision on what tyres they're going to run for down in Monte Carlo. I suspect the super soft or the soft tyre even will be the way to go. You know, we know down there it's basically the Grand Prix circuit they're running on. It's whether or not they bring the studded tyre with them to try and help them get there. But yeah, it's a different format, that's for sure. And the key thing is, as you can see on your screen there, we're going to the Monaco circuit, and it's very special to go there and take the WRC back. We've not been there for a while, and to have these cars running on that super special later on is pretty cool.
Can't hear anything you're saying. I'm sure it was fabulous. There's going to be lots of famous faces down there as well tonight. I know we're going to see Danny Sordo taking some celebrities out, so keep your eyes on if you like the celeb spotting. That's all going to be happening at Monaco. But for these guys, there is no time to celeb spot. They have got the longest stage of the rally to contend with again already. We saw it this morning. We'll see it again in different conditions. Cars now heading out, and just as they're heading out, just a bit of time for autograph signing as well. We are just 30 minutes away from now and the next stage, the stage that you saw running this morning. Can Sebastian Ogier hunt down Elfyn Evans? Are you ready to commentate all again on the drama?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting because the stage profile will have changed enormously. I think it's going to be even more tricky and certainly less consistent than what we saw this morning.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us through this show. You've got 30 minutes to get your lunch ready and sit down and get ready for the next stage.